To bring up a gentleman who's really going to exercise that keyboard the way it hasn't been exercised yet tonight. He's a marvelous pianist, songwriter, interpreter of songs, an all-round interesting and intelligent human being. And he's brought 3 different kinds of CDs with him tonight, so you can take a lot of Peter home with you if you'd like. Please, a big welcome for Peter Neuendorffer.
Thanks, everybody. Be with you in a second here. Get organized. Can you move this towards me a little bit?
As soon as I can get there.
Okay.
I will take care of you. It's my job.
Lots of people here tonight. I really didn't think there'd be anybody here, but oh, look at all the people. All right.
How's the positioning and height? I self-tighten it. Get you comfortable first.
Well, should be down a little bit low, okay? Because I tend to look at the keyboard.
Okay.
Can you get it towards me a little bit?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. How's that? Testing, testing, testing. All of the songs I'm going to play tonight, I wrote myself, and most of them are on my CDs. First few of them are about my family. Song from my mother. Thinking of my mother, standing at a bus stop, sunset near my home. She came from a city, paid $1 a week, now in a small town, editor of a think tank. And I just saw her the other day, thinking of her picture in her wedding gown, with her lieutenant off to war. Now the sun goes down and twilight moves on, in a kitchen where she tore coupons from the grocery store. And I just saw her the other day. I reach for my hat and I look for my gloves. As it begins to snow, the bus takes me to a place across the river. I force down a shiver, thinking of the sad days before she died. And I just saw her the other day, and I just saw her the other day. She taught me how to write. She wrote all those years. My mind turns its gears, trying to recall when all was well, before we got sick. And I just saw her the other day, and I just saw her the other day. Daddy's quiet and not quick. He moves with stately grace. He says what he means. Slow and steady wins the race. And I guide off the bus in the storm. Thanks, everybody. Now I got a question for you. Am I singing enough into the microphone so you can make out the words? It's all right? Okay. All right. This is about a friend of the family named Great Aunt Sally. Great Aunt Sally greeted us late at night in the fall, where she owns a summer cottage. "Hello, Ed," she barked. "Hello, Peter and Jane and all." She'd left the porch light on, very bright wattage. Driving to Ashburnham at the edge of the state. Sleep will wait. Aunt Sally winters in Philadelphia, spending summers and falls in this New England town. Her long life is a grand cycle. Leaves turn from green to red to orange to brown. Driving to Ashburnham at the edge of the state, sleep will wait. Her world is busy, from symphony to woods and fields, reading the Sunday crimes on her screened-in porch, admiring sunsets, listening to Mahler as well. After her wood stove meals, off to town in a vintage Nash that she drives so fast like a bat out of hell. My family stays as a smaller cabin at the end of a wagon-wheel path. Between the cottages was a blueberry patch where we picked blueberries to bake a muffin batch. Driving to Ashburnham at the edge of the state, sleep will await. Our cottage heat was a pot-bellied stove. I brought in wood from an outside pile. The view out back was a wooded grove, out front a field, and mountains far off by a mile. Dad and I cleared away a path that wandered about in the wood. It was overgrown with stumps and branches. Volunteer work turned bad into good. A spider descended from the ceiling, good luck. Birds chirped, mosquitoes bit, butterflies flew. As my mother worked on the Sunday crossword, stuck trying to solve a difficult clue. That's it. Up a little bit, yeah. Yeah, that's good, that's good. Well, down a little bit more. Okay, that's good. Great. Thank you. Well, this is a song about my... Oh, I wanted to thank Ira Groman, the videographer who's recording tonight of OMKT Disc Services. He's unfailingly and untiringly does this time after time. This is a song about my crazy family. I actually used the tune from an old Protestant hymn, Watchmen Tell Us of the Night. Hope nobody's insulted. But I wrote the words, Mailmen tell us, where's my mail? Mailmen tell me, where's my mail? Have you seen my sister Gail? She left the house in the middle of the night. She called me when the sky got light. Mailmen tell me, where's my mail? Oh, my belle was mad as hell when she could no longer tell who called collect from Niagara Falls and refused to pay for all those calls. Oh, my belle was mad as hell. Mailmen tell me, what's today? I saw you cross the street by the way. You say you found a shiny yellow card in the men's room stall, and you buy in the spring and you pay in the fall. Mailmen tell me, what's today? People, if you're not too drunk, what do you do if you're sprayed by a skunk? And you're sleeping on the bottom bunk on a fat hubbub in his swimming trunks. People, if you're not too drunk. Sweet Aunt June wrote me today. I can't believe what she had to say. She sent me a copy of a medal from a forgotten spy and a brand new stamp and a program from a play. Sweet Aunt June wrote me today. Someone knows the real words to the song. I can't be right if I'm always wrong. Cars and horses and silly songwriters play in a springtime field and a springtime day. Someone knows the real words to this song. Mailmen tell me, where's my mail? Have you seen my sister Gail? She left the house in the middle of the night. She called me when the sky got light. Thanks, everybody. Now, the next song is about what it might be like to listen to everybody's phone conversations at once. We watched the Golden Globe Awards, deciding who we leaned towards, checking out the hairstyles and wishing we had piles of money. You're my friend on the phone, you're the queen of the dial tone, dial tone. We talked about our daily rage against people who are on the stage of politics and news events and people with artistic bents. You're my friend on the phone, you're the queen of the dial tone. Whoa. We talked about the mental ills of people who took lots of pills and those of us who tried our best to fit in with the level rest. You're my friend on the phone, you're the queen of the dial tone. You're my friend on the phone, you're the queen of the dial tone. We reviewed a film just as we saw today about crowns of glory and feet of clay and forgotten cities and hounds at bay and children who go out to play. You're my friend on the phone, you're the queen of the dial tone. You're my friend on the phone, you're the queen of the dial tone. We talked about our mutual friends, negotiating the twists and bends of life's pursuits and life's amends, and strings and ropes and ballpoint pens. We agreed to disagree on things that pushed our buttons and pulled our strings, vowing that we'd meet again, we'd have much more to talk on then. Life is fun when you think about it, drying off the ink about it. Angels we have heard on high, with plenty of coffee before we die. You're my friend on the phone, you're the queen of the dial tone, dial tone, dial tone. Thank you. Our family has been around for thousands of years. We invented the abacus and the telescope. My family is well known in all the right places. Once a year we go to Monte Carlo for the Grand Prix. My family has contributed more money to good causes than any other, and we do not bother to claim it as a tax deduction. My Uncle Bob was listed in the Guinness Book of World Records as the fastest eater of soft serve ice cream ever. Don't worry, I'm getting to the song. They gave us 2 weeks to read Homer's Iliad. This is a 700-page ancient poem with 700 footnotes. And as if that wasn't enough, after that we had to read Homer's Odyssey in just 2 weeks. Also a 700-page ancient poem with 700 footnotes. I tried sitting in the first row of the lectures, but I still fell asleep. Private school. We all went to private school. We matriculated with Professor Fool. On a soccer field we did excel. We went to chapel at the chapel bell. Private school is where we went, with lots of money our parents lent. And when we graduate with honors, we'll give lots of money to alma maters. I can't keep up with all this work. The reading is so hard I'm shirking every assignment I get to read. Homer's Odyssey and Iliad, I need more to drink. We wrote the great American novel and went to space in the new space shuttle. And while we studied the early classics, we experimented making plastics. Private school is where we went, with lots of money our parents lent. And when we graduate with honors, we'll give lots of money to alma maters. Our grandfathers built our private schools while living by the golden rule. Do unto others before they do to you, and full speed ahead, red, white, and blue. Who would think we'd be so happy telling the waitress make it snappy? Oh, we are very important types. We pay our villains and smoke our pipes. Dickens novels we have read. We read Dickens when we went to bed. Our mothers sang a lullaby about going to heaven when we die. Our mothers sang a lullaby about going to heaven when we die. Private school is where we went with lots of money our parents lent. And when we graduate with honors, we'll give us some money to our mothers. How am I doing on time here? Pretty good? All right. This is my latest song, Looking Out of the Window in My Room. Outside the window in my room, there is a flying broom from an eccentric Harry Potter story, an ancient allegory. It tells the end too soon. I'm just looking out the window in my room. We met in a local donut shop. You were a mom and I was a pop. We sat sinking our donuts in cups of coffee, reviewing happy scenes from our favorite movies. Always leave them wanting more, don't leave them wanting less, said P.T. Barnum, who founded the circus. Always leave them wanting more. Up above colors turn, you saw it as dark, I saw it with lights. You were sad, I was not. I forgot to worry, but you just worry all the time. The sky color turns on the dime. We aren't bored, we're blessed. Star thoughts of stardom are born from crystal balls with brilliant domes adorned. We'll never be bored. Leaves and papers swirl in the breeze on a cold night in Copley Square. I stop and look behind me, but it's only my shadow. There isn't anybody there. On a golden wing, I travel to you. Do I sing like a songbird in a songbird chorus? As a ball of yarn unravels, my bus travels away from you. Do I have all the gifts that you've been bringing for us? Always leave them wanting more, don't leave them wanting less, said P.T. Barnum, who founded the circus. Always leave them wanting more. This will be my last song. There are more stoplights in my neighborhood than anywhere in the world, so I wrote this song called Wishing for the Walk Light, which is the title song from my album, Wishing for the Walk Light. Mother gets up at 4 a.m. every day to work on her book, alone in our kitchen. We each have brains on fire and noses itching. Every morning we are both magicians, with secret spells of daily bewitchings. Lately construction men are the real villains, not noticed by Bobby Dylan. The big dig in Boston is the most expensive thing yet, since the pyramids put the pharaohs in debt. Last week I strolled through the North End. I got lost in the back and forth of a concrete grave that confused me, at a party that refused me. Hundreds of concrete pews that we didn't see in the evening news. Drivers challenge pedestrians, and people cross on foot against traffic near the equestrian statue of Washington in the park. We applaud our moves in the dark. We're wishing for the walk light to change. As I patiently wait, I think about a film about a Macy's Santa who believed he was a real Kris Kringle. He was the hit of New Yorkers who loved him as he took off from the roof in a sleigh. Now that was fun. Still stuck on the sidewalk. I remember the excruciatingly slow docking in the space extravaganza, because the audience was falling asleep in their stocking feet. They shortened the film before the spaceships finally meet. Drivers challenge pedestrians, and people cross on foot against traffic near the equestrian statue of Washington in the park. We're all plotting our moves in the dark. We're wishing for the walk light to change. So I try to cross, but a speeding truck cuts me off. I think about another film I could see over and over, about a dying man who lived in clover. His son tries to get him to see that his tall tales were all made up. But at his father's funeral, the strange characters from the old man's stories showed up in the flesh in all of their glories. We wish for the walk light to change. We view in our visual cortexes our favorite films. Are we perplexed by them? Is there a complex with 1,000 screens? Are we in a vortex of outer space 3D movie beams? Or are we bored with the coming attractions, all adding up to zeros, despite the second coming of all of our action heroes? I run red lights driving. I don't give a damn, it's all just a sham. Don't get me wrong, my dinner guests are arriving. I'm serving them caviar and roast spring lamb. Please, 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 don't let them know what I've been confiding in the song. Drivers challenge pedestrians, and people cross on foot against traffic near the equestrian statue of Washington in the park. We're all plotting our moves in the dark. We're wishing for the walk light to change. And now for the obligatory encore, my signature song called The Candy Store, not to be confused with A Candy Store by Eminem. If I could have 3 little wishes, I'd wish for someone to do my dishes, so I could get lots of kisses while swimming around among the fishes. As these moments pass us by, and we think of how life could have been, we are happy that things are as they are, no matter what the place we're in. For my second wish there'd be a sailboat sailing on the sea, where I could get a cup of tea with no more bills for you or me. As these moments pass us by, and we think of how life could have been, we are happy that things are as they are, no matter what the place we're in. And lastly, I would wish for time to write more songs that we could rhyme, with no more ills and no more crime that costs a nickel and costs a dime. As these moments pass us by, and we think of how life could have been, we are happy that things are as they are, no matter what the place we're in. As these moments pass us by, and we think of how life could have been, we are happy that things are as they are, no matter what the place we're in. If I could have 3 wishes more, I wish I owned a candy store with chocolate bunnies on every floor and chocolate handles on every door. As these moments pass us by, and we think of how life could have been, we are happy that things are as they are, no matter what the place we're in. At last I'd plant a flower garden where I could get my final pardon from that great gardener in the sky before the time when I must die. As these moments pass us by, and we think of how life could have been. We are happy that things are as they are, or what the place we're in. As these moments pass us by, and we think of how life could have been, we are happy that things are as they are, no matter what the place we're in. Thank you very much, everybody.
Peter Neuendorffer. Absolutely wonderful.